Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another capsule selection. Today, we're going to dive into another complete list of beautiful concoctions, formulas that have been done to seduce. These are fragrances that I think are dark, brooding, seductive, and date night worthy fragrances for fall of 2024. Most of these come off with a nice resonant sweetness. Some come off with a little bit of a leathery tonality. But all in all, these five or six or seven fragrances I'm going to introduce to you to, depending on how the time frame goes, are great fragrances that come off so captivating and well. They're affirmative, they're sensual, they're mysterious, and they also bring a bit of continuity to an outfit that you want to bring out a polished look for yourself. So if this sounds like the type of content you think that you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuances of scent, cigars, and wines. I am your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We're going to dive into a list that I stated up front in the prologue. This is a fragrance category: dark, brooding, seductive, and date night. Most of these in this collection I want to introduce are oriental in styling and composition, but I may have one that's an offshoot of leathery composition. So these are fragrances that basically complement anyone's attire, complements anyone's style, and it defines a night for some of us. When I say define a night, I mean you want to have a beautiful dating encounter. You want to have something that's seductive, that's also pleasant enough to bring them in as a draw factor. So nothing very off-putting, but something mysterious enough to actually captivate and alluring enough to seduce. So these are fragrances in my collection that very much so play in that realm. Not the entirety of the collection, but just the five that I'm thinking I'm approaching for fall of 2024. So first off in this list, I want to introduce you guys to one that's a perennial favorite for all of these types of lists, and that is Grand Soir by the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. As we all know, Grand Soir, it's a head-turning, seductive, ambery classical fragrance that has a lot of mysterious components to it while also being so seductive and comforting. It opens, it has the best of benzoin, the best of labdanum, and vanilla. Tonka bean sweetness covers this particular composition with ease. It's one that Maison Francis Kurkdjian made exemplary for grand nights on the town, and that's exactly what it does. It hints at sexuality. It hints at affirming a nice continuity to an outfit, like I said, defining a real pleasant night for yourself. Classically ambery, is a conduit to affection, and I like to think of fragrances in that realm of emotion, because when you talk about a composition, this is a conduit. It's one that creates a memory, a memorable moment, and an affection type of feel, and that's one that you want when you're dating in these streets. Beautiful, beautiful scent. This is a good scent for all ages. I think anyone between the age of 20, 25 to up to 50, 55 can just go off accomplishing this scent in their wardrobe with ease. It's sensual, it's sexual, it's playful, it's erotic, and it's desirable. And that's one thing about Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir that you want in your collection. And it's ultimately sexy for any brooding, deep, dark date night that you want to accomplish something. So you're wearing black, you're wearing a nice blazer, anything, a cardigan as well, and it's autumnal in its color. This is a great scent for that particular night. Once again, first off in this list, Grand Soir by the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, non-stop hit. Next up, guys, what I have in this capsule for you is Doza. Doza is a niche fragrance, a very niche indie fragrance that is it's what I talked about in a couple lists before. It's one of those where they take the ball and kick it down the court to score the goal. This is one that has no similarity that I've smelled on the market. It's a beautiful tobacco, amber, and cassis style of fragrance. So it's persistent in a way a bright cassis and like a pine tar comes across in the opening, stays across the entire composition with a beautiful labdanum in the center of it, which creates that amber core with some beautiful tonka sweetness, some beautiful lather sweetness, some beautiful ambery tonality to this one. And it's one that is, in my opinion, the most exotic of this list. It is a fragrance that, like I stated, I have not smelled anything like this before. It comes in with a penetrative Szechuan pepper as well. So if you're one that wants to explore a deeper, darker, more enveloping erotic side of amber while also touching on a more of a peppery nuance, Doza is the one for you. Doza was introduced to me in 2023, spring of 2023, I believe. And to me, when I first got the fragrance, I thoroughly enjoyed it, picked it up way more often than I thought it would, considering the collection I have. And then this coming fall, or the fall of 2023, introduced it more into the collection. But this coming year, I can tell that the bottle has actually taken on a little maceration, so the actual enveloping of the opening has subdued itself a little bit, which one of the things about this was a little bit off-putting to many in the community that have smelled the scent. But for me, when I'm smelling on this particular scent now, with the tobacco, the warm, captivating seduction of the amber, and the actual performance on this one, is it succumbs to nothing. It is one of those scents that actually goes beast mode, and it just, the scent trail is what you really want to pick up on. The sillage is one thing about this one that up close it can be a bit of a off-putting type of scent because of the high dose of cassis, which can be sometimes categorized as a pissy. Sometimes people categorize it as like a feline piss. To me, it's just a very verdant style of berry that comes off high-pitched. Nothing aromatic about it, but just very high-pitched greenness. And to me, in this one, I must say, Doza has captured me again for the coming fall. It's one with that brightness, can wear up to 67, 75 degrees in that range. And then it goes into the evening where you're around the company you want to keep, and it comes off sexy and appealing. Once again, tobacco, blonde tobacco, musk, labdanum, sweet myrrh is in this one. So it's a lot of heavy tonality around ambers and intensity around cassis and tobacco. And it's a perfect scent for a brooding date night. Very seductive and dark, sensual and comfortable. Get your nose on Doza. Next up on the list, gentlemen, let's talk about the house of Nasomatto and the beautiful fragrance introduced within, this is maybe the third list within the last month or so that I'm really pushing the way that the scent of Pardon smells. It's a very rich, reassuring, smoky, alluring, and seductive fragrance by the house of Nasomatto. It is my favorite from the house of Nasomatto, and it is my favorite for a reason. It's chocolate, it's oud, it's smoky incense, dark woods. It's unusual while at the same time being comfortable and a sense of familiarity. So that one thing about this, when it envelops your skin, it's just one thing about this nature of this scent that just brings more and more attraction to you. Because like I stated, when you have scents that have a peculiarness or unusualness to them, but they also smell familiar because you pick up the oud and the chocolate and the woods and the smokiness. So the way this has been formulated, it comes off kind of green, kind of verdant, ultimately incensey, that green incensey style. But the seductive part is the oud and chocolate working together in great harmony, and it's just seductive. A little bit of a floral compound in the background, maybe some rose, maybe some geranium, but it's very subdued in the background. Nothing comes off overtly floral. Seductive in the end of the day. Compelling to wear, very noble smelling. Like I said, punchy. This little 30 ml bottle has lasted me years for a reason, and it's going to be, it's one of those scents, man. You've heard about this. You've seen this on the market. It's dark. It's seductive. It's brooding, like I keep stating in this particular list. And it's one that ultimately captivates the noses of the ones around you that you want to captivate. The scent, Pardon by the house of Nasomatto. Up on the list, gentlemen, a scent that has hit the market. It's one that has some similar fragrances because Dominique Ropion made a few similar fragrances around this particular chord of vanilla. Vanilla, spiced, warm, seductive, cozy, alluring, all the adjectives that you can use when you're going about a date night, sexy fragrance. To me, outside the one, I'll introduce you guys to Vanagloria that he introduced. This is similar to Vanagloria, but where I do pick up a distinctive difference between the scent of YSL Babycat and Vanagloria is the use of pineapple in Vanagloria and a higher dose of the vanilla in Vanagloria. So if you are one who wants a churchy cake sweetness with a little pineapple up front, that's Vanagloria for you. Phenomenal fragrance. Babycat though. Babycat is more of a seductive, fresh, peppery, warm spice to me than it is the vanilla-centric style of Vanagloria. The peppers in this one pick up immediately and they stay throughout the entire running of the fragrance. The formula picks up, opens with that very fresh pepper, black pepper, pink pepper smell. That odor is phenomenal if you are a person who loves black pepper. I am one who truly enjoys what the pavre pepper smell is. It then goes into that beautiful, seductive Madagascar bourbon vanilla around the incense and leather suede. phenomenal, brooding, musky, the aromatic touch to the leather is phenomenal on this one. It's one that very much so is not as dark as you would think a oriental would be, but more of a seductive sweetness. But that is the underlying player over that black pepper spice, which makes this ultimately, to me, more masculine than I thought this particular formula would succumb to. And it's, at the end of the day, sweet, seductive, alluring. Like I stated, all the adjectives. It's musky, it's balsamic, it's powdery. It's one that has a carrying note of a sweet sandalwood over it. It's everything that you want in a dark, deep, musky, sweet, leathery, powdery, and vanilla style of fragrance. I mean, juxtaposed, like I keep stating about Vanagloria, it has a similarity to it because Dominique Ropion penned both of these fragrances. He took the little special care to make this one a little more peppery, more masculine feeling for me. And it's seductive, it's sweet, it's alluring, it's playful, flirtatious while not being too childish or too juvenile. It stays in the realm of masculine leaning fragrances to me. And at the end of the day, it's a smoky, sweet, seductive fragrance that has a lot of heart, a lot of calling, and attributes towards a sensual evening out with a loved one that you want to be around and want to allure closer and closer to you. So what next up, or as I should say, on this list of captivating fragrances, dark, brooding, and seductive, this is Babycat by the House of YSL. Get your nose on this one. This one is it's not a sleeper. It's not one that has not been talked about many times, but you will be surprised at what this one offers. Now, it's not for everyone when it comes to the offering of being a sensual or sexual fragrance, because many people can take this as just being overhyped, which I can understand. You know, we smelled things before, and this one is one of those things we smelled before. But at the same time, the care and ingredients that were taken into formulating this one, and the actual use of it as a composition that goes as a evolving scent. It goes on black peppers. Black pepper stays through it. The saffron comes through nice, light, and leathery with the suede accord compounded with that. And then the vanilla is ultimately the backbone of this scent, making it dark, seductive, and sweet. And that's what you want in the date night fragrance. So once again, Babycat by the House of Yves Saint Laurent. Next up on the list, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of amber fragrances, amber-centric fragrances, they're rich, robust, powerful, just succumbing to an evening night out with that classical ambery feel, Amber Area by the home of Profumum Roma is just a phenomenal scent. One of the most spectacular amber fragrances that you're going to come across. When I talk about pure amber, it has a very distinctive smell, and amber, when used right, done right in a particular notion, this is one of, man, animalic, sweet, seductive amber. The amber accord is, of course, labdanum, patchouli, a little bit of sweet vanilla, and the mixture of, it smells like the amber concoction. This one has a little bit of honey in it, that animalic feral honey, olibanum, and a sweet myrrh. This is a sexy, seductive, intense formula that very much so carries a beast mode fragrance trail as well. Amber Aria is one of Profumum Roma's bestseller, and it's the bestseller for a reason, especially for fall evening wear. Amber is just the calling card for certain situations when it comes to a night of intrigue, a night of seduction, and things ultimately do make that a calling card and a hallmark for you as a storyteller. And for me, wearing fragrances like Amber Sultan and Amber Aurea are just the ultimate in culmination of polishing a look off and making myself seductive. To me, it's a formula that if you spray it loudly and make it loud with many sprays, it's still comforting. If you put on light wear to be someone seductive and alluring that wants to bring someone closer by the way they smell you and don't have to be within 2 feet of you, they have to be a little bit closer. It's a scent that does that. It's a phenomenal way that these compositions come off. And this one is no slouch. 2 to 3 sprays, 1 on each side of the neck, 1 in the chest. I don't even put this one on the wrist because it projects enough off of the shoulder line and off of the chest through clothing. The oils last on the skin all day long. It's a pure oil formulation. I know they put Eau de Parfum or Eau de Parfum, but this has got to be extra the way that these fragrances are made. High level quality ingredients that just smell seductive, robust, Great for a night out on the town, especially when there's a breeze in the air and you're walking hand to hand. A lovely, lovely scent for that particular moment, man. Create the stories, brothers. Create the stories. It's seductive, sweet, ambery, and just a great fragrance to wear in the evenings with a brooding date night for seduction in the fall of 2024. Trust me. Amber Area by the House of Profumum Roma. Fellas, last on this list of dark brooding seduction, Roja Parfums Musk Aoud. Beautiful rose sublimated by musk, oud, and it's, when you talk about compliments, some of the most exotic fragrances bring some of the most erotic compliments. And when it comes to an erotic scent that is dark and brooding, Musk Aoud is the one that just beats all fragrances. Now I know that many of us love oud, love the way it comes off leathery, smoky, somewhat animalistic. The way that this one has been blended, it carries the entire tonal atmosphere of what oud can do. It's very dark, very damp, very animalic, very sweet, very warm, very cozy, seductive at its most prominent point. And Musk Aoud is just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance that Roja Parfums has placed on the market. It's one of those fragrances, just it's a lot of musk, white, clean musk, but it has those dark components lifting it. And what those dark components do is just create this ultimate seduction around the wearer. It is a Middle Eastern fragrance that just comes in, has a little bit of a Bacor sweetness in there, the smoky content. It's very seductive, very cozy, and very alluring, what you want in your brooding date night fragrances. This one has lasted me for so long. I suggest, even if you purchase this fragrance, just go ahead and get the actual 30 ml bottle, because these are so hard to run through, because it's such a potent fragrance. You only need 2 or 3 sprays of it. I would go 2 max, really, for myself. The way it comes off the skin, it just envelops the wearer, and then it goes as an aura scent, and then anyone around you is very much so seduced by what Musk Aoud can do for you and do for them as a calling card to you. A very much so rich hallmark of you can be Musk Aoud. Get your nose on this if you haven't, guys. This is one been on the market for quite some time, and it continues to pop up on list after list of seductive date night fragrances. Great Middle Eastern fragrances, very seductive rose fragrances. It's one that is just time after time captivating the noses of this community. And for me, dark, brooding, sexy, and seductive evenings can go no wrong when wearing Musk Aoud by the House of Roja Parfums. Get your nose on it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my content for you guys today. Hopefully you got something entertaining and educational from this particular video. And if you did, all that I ever ask that you do is hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your deepest, darkest, brooding, and most sexual fragrance in your collection. Also, remember, as I state now, these are fragrances that create a story. The story is you. Create that emotion and that connection, and with these fragrances, you're going to ultimately come out on top, because the memory is what we're trying to achieve for these type of fragrances and these type of moments. As always, until next time, and until next video, peace.